Hey Monica, I am like behind schedule getting started just because, well, it was it was late. It was a late night. Let me try to log into Facebook.
Hi, Tuanni.
Hi, you know what? I didn't even think about it. I should have invited you over so you could have had some of this creation wine with me. But I can run it over to you because there's going to be so much left over.
Yay. So, did you ever order your wine from Carmen?
I did. So she said she could deliver it and I could just pay her in cash.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it should be coming soon. Hope next week, because there's no deliveries this weekend. Oh gosh, this morning has been so hectic. Like I literally didn't get out of bed until 11.
Well, you were up late. I forgot that you had your Meet the Wine Professional series for Wine Over
Yeah,
LA.
it was okay. I didn't for that one for the meeting invitation. I didn't take the time to really secure it like I usually do. So we got hijacked.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got hijacked. Why is it? Okay, and now Facebook Live doesn't want to work today. What the heck? Oh.
You need to use that other app.
I know I looked into that, but I think there was a lot going on with that one.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So we usually get started at about 5 after. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Peter, your setup looks so nice. I don't think I have enough counter space for all of that. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. So we usually start at about 5 after. We'll start in 2 minutes. We're just waiting for more people to actually join the call. We're getting our Facebook Live together. Yes, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat or you can just unmute yourself and ask a question. All right, so it is 5 after. We are going to get started. Welcome, everyone.
Well, hello. How are you
Hi,
doing?
hi. Thank you so much for joining the Black Study Group. Let me just let a whole bunch of people in who just joined in. So my name is Tuanni Price, and yeah, I'm with Black, and we have Jean-Claude Martin and Caroline Martin here from Creation, and we also have Peter Terblanche here from Riedel, South Africa, and I'm super, super excited to do this masterclass. Thank you so much, Creation, for sending over the wines. I've been a fan of Creation Wines. I pour your guys' wines at the Cape Wine Auction every year, and it's such a big hit So I'm super excited to have them in my home and taste them.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Peter, for joining us. Of course, who doesn't love a good Riedel glass, right? And now I have 4 of them, so I don't have to use the standard one that I've been using for every single wine, right? Super, super excited to experiment and see how the flavors and the aromas change using the different glasses. Peter, I will let you, maybe I'll start with you and let you start and take it away and just talk about the glasses, a little bit about the history of Riedel and like why stemware is so important. And then we'll just go from there.
Excited to taste with Carolyn and Creation as well. So I always say you guys are our biggest brand ambassadors in South Africa, and you do the full Riedel functionality at the winery as well. So it's always nice that you know we know that Riedel is presented with your beautiful wines. So from the Riedel side, we've got in front of me, I've got the Riedel performance glasses. Besides, I've used the New World Shiraz glass from the Pinot range, Carolyn, that you guys have with you. But we were thinking to use a little bit of the new performance glassware. So that's the newest technology and glassware that was developed in 2018. The lineup for today is a Sauvignon Blanc glass, Oak Chardonnay, the Pinot Noir, and then the Shiraz glass that we've got in the Pinot range. Yeah, so we're going to obviously pour the wine into all 4 glasses, smell and taste together. So that's the thinking with it. The glasses is all developed for the human senses. So, and I think that's the most important thing that we need to know, that George Riedel is doing all these glasses and workshops, and all the glasses is developed to take the wine into specific tasting zones on your palate. So today I'm going to show you if it's going on the correct area, what is the taste and the character of the wine, but how it can also change if it's going to a different tasting zone. So our philosophy is that the wine will always taste and smell better from a Riedel glass, and that's what we promise to consumers and customers. And not a lot of people know about glass functionality, but it's a glass tool. It's the final step. Where does wine flow onto your palate, and where is wine at its best?
Okay.
So maybe just a little bit of history about Riedel. So next year we're celebrating 265 years in business. So 11th generation. Maximilian is the CEO of the company, and Georgie's father is just turned 70 last year. He's the CEO of the company. The company also owns 3 crystal brands. So it's Riedel, Spiegelau, and Nachman, where all our factories is in Germany for machine made, and then all the handmade items is in Austria, Kufstein. And they super excited after the lockdown and everything. They got all the glass blowers back into the factory from Monday. So the handmade factory is in full production currently. And we started with production on the glassware again after about 2 months of lockdown in Austria.
Nice.
All right, so Karen, maybe you guys can introduce the wines to us. So,
Cool. Jason will do that. Being the winemaker.
I think normally Karen became nearly the winemaker in our estate, so she could do it also herself. So
That's a compliment.
we go first with the Sauvignon Blanc, and I think then we have do we have a Chardonnay, a stage Chardonnay?
Yes.
No, stage Chardonnay. And then,
So we have.
Yes, here we go. So I think the persons who maybe know our history quite a bit, but we always validated from the beginning, when you're producing quality wines, you want to showcase the wine at its best. So the glass stemware became a very important part from day one when we started our tasting room facility. That was in 2008. And it's maybe from a logistical point of view not the easiest ever, especially when you do it in your own home at home, and you maybe have not the right dishwashers, and then end of the dinner party you have 50 glasses waiting for getting cleaned. But we got in the tasting room quite used. We are very well equipped. We have professional dishwasher machines, and our ladies, they know to handle the Riedel glasses very well, so we not have too much breakage. And it's a nice beneficiary thing to showcase good wine in the proper glass. So we took the decision to go for the cultivar specific shape. And so the first glass, then Mr. Riedel will explain you exactly why it has to look like this for the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep.
But overall, the Sauvignon Blanc glass, I think it does justice for many wines. When I tasting technically in my cellar downstairs, my wines, I would often use the Sauvignon Blanc glass for all the cultivars. Obviously downstairs I cannot taste with 10 different glasses in my cellar. I think the Sauvignon Blanc glass is a very precise glass to smell and to taste, and I do quite like that glass. I think it does definitely it does justice to all the Sauvignon Blancs, Viogniers, all the white wines who are not wooded. And we tasted here now with our 2019 Sauvignon Blanc, who is made in stainless steel, so there's no barrels involved. And I think it channels very nicely the aromatic flavors to the nose. And with sipping that wine and getting the wine on the center of your tongue, you have the fresh acidity who you want to highlight out of Sauvignon Blanc.
So can I just make sure, am I using the correct glass? Is this
No,
the right
you're
glass
not.
for the Sauvignon?
No, you're not. So you have to have the 4 glasses in front of you. So there's the Sauvignon Blanc glass, then the bigger bowl that we call sometimes the fish bowl. Yep. So that's the Chardonnay glass. Then you've got the one with the tulip like this. This is for Pinot Noir. And then the one that you had the glass in your hand, that's actually the Shiraz glass.
Okay.
All right.
I'll correct that a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to bring you now one of the glasses that Carolyn have in front of her, the international tasting glass. But maybe just a little bit of feedback on that specific glass is they use that for a lot of competitions. So Reciprocal, that's doing the old mutual tasting, is using, we also use this glass for an international tasting glass. And, you know, we found that it's the best all over if you only have one glass to choose from and what they're making the wines with. We pour this wine into all 4 glasses. So if we do the glass functionality tasting, you just put a sip of each wine or the Sauvignon Blanc into each glass. And what we want to do then is for you to first smell them, and then we taste them. So if you go to the Sauvignon Blanc glass, you get that beautiful grassy, little bit of green pepper, you know, nice acidity, freshness, yeah, just totally beautiful, the aromas that you're getting. This is beautiful. Okay, then we go to the Chardonnay glass, and you find the Chardonnay glass is much bigger. All right, and now you lose that beautiful concentration of aromas that you had. You get a little bit of hints of it, but you can swirl it, you can try it, you're not going to get the same aromas out of the Chardonnay glass. And it's because of we call the aromas, we actually call them molecules in the glass. So these molecules in the glass, we manage it. So in Sauvignon Blanc, because the grape varietal is quite sensitive, it's low in weight, it's kind of a lighter style wine, you'll see that the glass is much smaller. And you basically bring in the concentration of all the molecules together. Where with the Chardonnay glass, it's quite big. So let's just smell then from your Pinot Noir glass. Yeah, the one with the tulip. So your glass number 3. Okay. And you'll actually find that the aromas are getting less and less. It's because of the size of the glass. So the molecules in the glass is quite wide. Okay, and then your Shiraz glass, the 4th one, if we smell from there. Okay, now suddenly it's all gone. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, Okay, so I'm totally with you on all of them except for the Shiraz glass, and I don't know if that's because I poured it in that glass first, but in the first glass, the Sauvignon Blanc glass, it was very structured, very intense aromas, very concentrated aromas, but structured aromas. But then in the Shiraz glass, the first thing I smelled oddly was like this spicy pear, which I don't usually associate with Sauvignon Blanc, but it was more fruity. It was more tropical fruit, or just like fruitier than more structured and lean than the Sauvignon Blanc. So yeah, it wasn't totally gone. It's not totally gone in the Shiraz glass for me.
Yeah.
But it does dissipate in the other ones.
Yeah. For me, the amazing thing that you said about glass number 4 is spiciness, because for some other reason, this shape, if you know, we're going to taste it later with Shiraz. There's always a little bit of spiciness out of the glass, you know, and that's the shape that's just bringing out spice in the glass, or that sharpness of aromas in the glass. So, you know, so it's doing its job. If you tell me it's spicy, number 4 is definitely doing its job. But if you look at the true character of the wine and the style that the guys are making, so your terroir, Carolyn, is quite, you know, a cool climate. So you are looking for that kind of a little bit New Zealand style. You know, and this Sauvignon Blanc, I'm always crazy about it because it's just so true of Sauvignon Blanc. I don't know if you guys have also smelled the glasses, but
we don't have exactly the same range that you have here, because we have the restaurant range, because we work with this in the tasting room.
Yeah.
But absolutely, those primary differences you notice. I think the wine, in terms of the terroir, is really fresh. It's kind of got this wonderful minerality and a slight kind of flintiness when you taste it in the Sauvignon Blanc glass. Obviously, we're very close to the Atlantic Ocean, and yeah, it's probably like 8 degrees here. I don't know. It's very cold today, so it's winter. But even in summer, it really gets above 30 degrees. We have like 5 days above 30 degrees. So a beautiful, cool climate, and those wonderful winds coming off the Atlantic Ocean. Great for Sauvignon Blanc.
No, that's for sure. And you can definitely smell it in the glass. So let's maybe taste, and then we're going to play a little bit with our tasting zones. So the first sip that we're going to taste is from the Sauvignon Blanc glass, so your first glass, the white wine. So let's just take a sip from there, and then you need to kind of feel where does the wine flow onto your palate. So obviously, if we look at the palate, we look at what we call the tip of the tongue, where we actually taste sweetness. So with the Sauvignon Blanc, that is the highest in acidity, we always like to add it to the tip of the tongue where you taste sweetness. So then it brings out the perfect balance in this wine, because you're mixing sweet and you're mixing the acidity or the sourness, and that brings just Sauvignon Blanc in perfect harmony. So if we go to the Chardonnay glass, that is obviously the bigger glass. If you taste from there, you'll find that the wine is much wider. So it's more kind of a horizontal delivery, where if you look at glass number 1, it's more a vertical delivery. So more to the side, and you'll find that there's more acidity on the palate if you look at glass number 2, the Chardonnay glass. That's wider in your palate, and it's just because of the acidity that is in the wine. I can maybe show you guys. I've downloaded a little tasting zone for us, what we call the tongue. So if you maybe can just look at that. So you'll see the tip of the tongue, you're getting sweetness, then you get saltiness and minerality more to the back, and bitterness right at the back. So just to give you kind of an idea with the different tasting zones that we've got on the palate. So let's go now to glass number 3, that's the Pinot Noir glass. And you'll find that the Pinot Noir glass will also deliver it, but on your tongue, right in the middle. So just check on that, if I'm correct with that.
Amazing, because you know, Peter, I can smell this in the glasses. I'm not tasting today, but I can smell it in the glasses. I
Yeah.
can smell all of the things that you're describing because of the shape of the glasses. And, you know, of course, 80% of what one tastes is through the aromas.
That's for sure. So maybe just a little bit of statistics. They say your brain can store up to 80,000 different aromas. And the more you practice this smelling, you know, the more you kind of remember and feed this library of our senses. So, you know, it's also beautifully raining outside with us in Wellington. But rain, say, in Wellington will smell different from rain in the city, or rain in Cape Town, or rain in the Karoo. You know, and all that different aromas that we store. Also, if we talk about tropical, for one guy it's banana, for the next guy it's mango, for the next guy, you know, it is pineapple. So depending on your senses is where you get the different aromas.
I think, as you said, it's also like circumstantial, because I remember when George did the tasting with us and he put the same iced water in the 4 different glasses. And because it was in a different shaped glass, the actual water had different flavor profiles in terms of aromatics as well as taste.
Really amazing, eh? Okay, and then let's maybe take a sip from our Shiraz glass number 4 on the Sauvignon Blanc. So just taste that.
I can smell the spice.
And you find that's a little bit more to the back of your palate, so more to the back area, and that brings out even more acidity out of the wine. And for me, you know, on Sauvignon Blanc, it's so beautiful and smooth and in balance, but if it's poured more to the back of your palate, it brings out the acidity. So let's maybe I like to do this just to go back to glass number 1 that we call the repair sip, to get it in, you know, in the perfect format as Riedel will deliver it. So maybe just take a sip from glass number 1 again.
Yeah, please do.
I just had them.
And you'll find if it's on the tip of the tongue, you get this beautiful, beautiful aromas.
The
And
aromas
now it's smooth. Tuanni, what do you think of
You're
glass
muted.
number 1 to glass number 4 now?
Glass number 4, what do I think of it now?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's totally different. Like you said, the first one is very intense on the tongue, but then this one, I can feel it in the back of my tongue, like almost in my throat. Glass number 4, I can feel the flavors and aromas and taste them there.
Okay, and what do you prefer?
I prefer number 1 because I love that sharpness and that acidity in Sauvignon Blanc, and you get it right up front. And it reminds me of the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, of a typical Sauvignon Blanc flavor.
Yeah, beautiful, eh? So this is, to me, one of the best Sauvignon Blancs, true character, everything that Sauvignon Blanc is about. All right, so if you still have a little bit of wine left over, you can maybe just pour it in a spittoon. I've got my spittoon, I just want to get that. And then, okay, thanks. And then we're going to go over to the Chardonnay.
Tuanni, someone had a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Silas, he wanted to know if we could revisit wine number 3. Can you talk about the Pinot Noir glass, how it changes the flavors and the aromas?
Okay, so, you know, maybe just a description on it. So as we said with Sauvignon Blanc, that's quite a light style wine. You'll see that if we look at the design of the glass, so we look at the areas on the side here, we actually call this the belly, all right? And the belly talks about the weight of the wine. So the weight of the wine is the wider the belly, the bigger and bolder the wine. So we can actually say Sauvignon Blanc, where we look at this glass, is quite slim, all right? So it's a thinner fit, but it's because of the weight of the wine. So there's a lot of complexity, and usually we'll also see it now with the Chardonnay. If we add a little bit of a wood component, roundness, fullness, you know, it gives it more weight and complexity. So then you want to make the belly a little bit bigger, all right? So the belly actually manages the weight of the wine. The rim diameter That's basically the area here at the top. All right, so, and you'll see it here on there. So the area here, that determines where does the wine flow onto your palate. So the functionality and the shape of the glass is basically the belly of the wine is the weight of the wine, and then the rim diameter at the top is for your senses. Where does it flow onto the palate? So there's a little bit of we want to say science magic in the glasses that George is doing. So if they develop these glasses, they go to workshops, and it can take up to 10, 20 workshops to get to the right shape for a specific grape varietal, because it's grape varietal specific glasses. So Pinot Noir, you'll also see there's a little bit of a tulip there. So the wine needs air to breathe and then we compact all the flavors. So in the wine world, obviously Pinot Noir in South Africa, it's not one of the most sold wines. And I think the biggest issue with it is the glassware. Because if you pour it into, let's say, a glass number 4, we'll taste that a little bit later, just totally change the character of what Pinot Noir is about. Pinot Noir is a fruit bomb, but out of the wrong glass, it can be horrible in acidity. So, that's the negativity about the wine. But for me, as a South African, we've always, I was battling always with Pinot Noir until I started drinking with my international palate, and George Riedel is crazy about Pinot Noir. So every dinner there's always Pinot Noir and then something else. But Pinot Noir is always one of the dishes and one of the wines, and it's a fruit bomb if you have it out of the correct glass. Okay.
I think the same applies to Chardonnay that we're going to taste now, Peter,
Yes.
because there was a whole ABC, anything but Chardonnay, and now everyone talks about absolutely brilliant Chardonnay because they're drinking it out of the right glass and appreciating its finesse and elegance rather than actually the intensity.
Yep, for sure. Will you guys maybe just give us a little bit of how the Chardonnay is made? So I'm a Chardonnay lover, and I actually told my son about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So my cellar has taken quite a bit of emptying over this COVID-19 period. But I told him there's one thing that I'm going to do, and more of my cellar is going to be filled with Chardonnay than with anything else. So I'm looking forward to taste this Chardonnay.
You obviously, I hope you have Caroline's number.
Definitely.
I have Peter's number, put it that way.
Exactly.
So we can send me a case. I'm already on it before I've tasted it.
So on the Chardonnay, you will make the call on Chardonnay production if you go the route with stainless steel or if you go with barrels. I personally believe to go the more traditional way, like Burgundian style, who is everything vinified in this pièce, who is a 228-liter barrel. Wood is selected from the nearest forest around Burgundy, mainly Châtillonnais. And then as you move further up to Paris, you have the forest of Fontainebleau. So this is unfortunately the expensive wood, but I think it's the same thing. As you will take the right glass for your wine, you also need to have the right wood for your winemaking in the barrel cellar. So it is not really the costing issue. It's about, does it make any justice against your product? So it's traditional, made for 11 months in the barrel, fermented. We do make malolactic of all our Chardonnay. We have a very good initial starting point from an acid point of view. So the acid is there. We can make malolactic. I always slightly prefer to make malolactic to integrate the wood much better than without. And after 11 months, we do rack these wines in a stainless steel tank where we keep it as a blended product for a couple of months. We quite like that period to properly integrate that different barrels in the wine. So it's from a practicality. You prefer sometimes to get straight to bottle, but we quite like to keep the wine for a couple of months and then it gets bottled. Depending the years, how clean we get it out of the barrels with racking, we do try to avoid filtration. But some years when there's a little bit of lees coming along and it doesn't settle completely, then we give a rough sheet filtration. and then it goes to the bowl.
Okay, great. So I don't know if you guys have poured already your wine into the 4 different glasses. So I think it's time that we smell this. Okay, so we're going to start with the Chardonnay glass. That is glass number 2. So the big bowl. A lot of times people think this is a red wine glass. So in our world of glassware, we recommend that you never ever drink red wine from here, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But just smell the Chardonnay in this glass. This is just taking it wild. The depth of aromas that you're getting here, the complexity, you get creaminess, you get freshness, you get minerality. It's just like in layers of different aromas. It's really amazing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You just get all these layers of aromas. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's almost
and you
like
get
you
back in, that. And the toasted notes. So the wood component in here is like it's a little bit of toast. It's battery toast. Really beautiful. So. Well,
I think what to really make one small statement regarding that, it doesn't look too easy that we as winemaker just basically the good wine glass and then the wine is good because of the glass. I think a good wine glass is definitely meaningful for a good product to elevate it even in a better level. But when you're putting a not so good wine in a very nice glass, you even get more punished because all this negative thing also comes much stronger out. So will be always the combination, obviously. So it still needs to be a good base product to really then also let it shine in the right stem.
Sure. All right, so let's smell now from glass number 1. So you'll see much smaller now. So there we basically the molecules is now condensed into a smaller area, and you'll find that you lose those layers of the wood component. I want to say I even get a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of pineapple that I had in glass number 2. I'm not getting it in glass number 1. It's like it's a little bit shy now of shining in the glass for me in 1.
Yeah, if I were doing a tasting with this, I would say maybe that it was a little bit tight and it just needed to open up in the glass a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not as layered as 2.
Yeah. So let's smell now glass number 3, the Pinot Noir. Okay. So maybe if we talk about molecules in the glass, aroma. So the best aromas in the glass is usually at the surface of the wine. So that's what we call more your heavy weighted molecules. So the weight of the best aromas is at the level of the glass, and that's why we swirl. So you want the lighter molecules and the heavy molecules to mix. But if you go to glass number 3, doesn't matter how you try to mix it, you just cannot find the same aromas. And it's also about basically the length in the glass. If you look at that area over there, you just don't get all those beautiful aromas to come up. And then the smaller area at the top actually makes it now more tight. So if you look at your Chardonnay glass, the length there is shorter, but it's also much wider at the top. So it's giving you the space for this wine to really breathe at its full potential. Okay, and then if we go to the Shiraz glass, we can just smell from there, and then you find so even higher in length, and you just don't get what you want out of the Chardonnay. So now it loses its aroma. What do you think, Johnny?
I agree with you 100%. This is definitely the best glass. You have all the layers of aromas. It's delicious. It smells delicious. But I don't know, this Syrah glass is probably my favorite glass because I do get the flavors and the aromas in the Syrah. They're just changed. They're just like bigger, like wider. But yeah, these 2 are my favorite glasses so far.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so let's taste now. So let's go to glass number 2 and we taste the Shiraz. Oh, sorry, Chardonnay. Wow. It just gets like in, I want to say, more aromas, more taste, more texture, the longer it stays on your palate. So really, really beautiful. You know, and I always say after a while, if you can still feel the weight in the middle of your palate, you know that it's a brilliant wine. So well done with that. And it's round, it's battery, it's creamy. That's all that you want from a Chardonnay.
It's delicious.
Do you want to maybe describe what you guys are tasting?
It's making me wish that I had friends here so I could share them with it. It's so good. I just want to like have somebody here with me and say, "Don't you taste it?" It's delicious.
Yeah, really, really amazing. Okay, so let's take a sip now from a different tasting zone. So obviously this will be more the vertical delivery right on the tip of the tongue. So let's see what happens with the wine if it's on a different tasting zone or different tasting on your palate. Johnny, maybe you can describe it for us because, you know, I'm supposed to know what's going to happen with the wine, but maybe you can describe it from your side and then...
Honestly, I want to say like it's magic, right? Like the wine is delicious, hands down, but it's the best in this glass. It's full on the mouth. It covers the entire tongue. It feels heavy. It feels rich. And this one, it doesn't feel as heavy on the tongue. It just kind of like... It's delicious, but it's just kind of like there. It's more light and refreshing. You don't really get all those layers, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, and that's the magic of the glasses and actually about the human body and our human senses. So, as I told you, glass number 2 is like in this horizontal delivery, and it goes to the sides of your palates. Now, on the sides of the palate, most of the time, we talk about you taste saltiness, you taste minerality, you taste umami. You know, so it's a specific tasting zone. So if for that specific tasting zone, if we go to red wines, it will turn to like in green harsh tannins because that's on the red wine side. But as soon as you go to Chardonnay, you know, it's just beautiful if it's white like that. It brings out the full roundness of it, where the other glasses will deliver it to the middle. That's the more vertical delivery. So then you miss the side, but the sides of your palate is just bringing out that amazing roundness and fullness and complexity of the wine.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that part.
Okay, great. So have you also tasted? Yeah, have you tasted out of glass number 4?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, so let's just taste glass number 4 as well. I see you've taken a sip out of the Pinot Noir. But Pinot Noir 1 and 3 is kind of tip of the tongue, and then number 4 will be more to the middle of the palate.
Interesting.
We actually talk about more the sweet spot. But now if you go to this wine for, I want to say the sweet spot, the wine never delivered really any acidity, but if you go to glass number 4, you get like the wine tastes a little bit more watery, a little bit more acidity, and you lose roundness and fullness and complexity, and it's all the tasting zone, and that's what the glass manages for you. So, you know, usually on Chardonnay we see a big difference on what's in the glass is bringing out of the wine.
I have a question. Do you recommend, or do you know if somms on the floor, working on the floor, if they usually, let's say they were going to pour this Sauvignon Blanc, but somebody said, you know what, I want my Sauvignon Blanc, but I mean, not Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay. I want my Chardonnay, but I want it with the steak. You know, you have that one person who loves Chardonnay and they want a steak. Would you recommend serving it in this glass as opposed to this glass so you can change the weight of the body?
You always want the wine at its best. So for me, the Chardonnay will always go into the Chardonnay glass, but very tricky. And I don't know if most of the guys should know this. I don't know if they know it, but usually if you go and look at steak, or let's just talk a general rule in food and wine pairing, you always look at the weight of the wine with the weight of the food. So there's also, you need to compare weight. So a full-bodied Chardonnay with a full-bodied, let's say, steak that's meat, that's heavy, that will actually, you know, there will be a pairing into that. But as soon as you're going to go with a light wine with heavy fruit, there's actually a clash. The other thing that you should also look at, you know, in South Africa, not a lot of people, or there is a lot of people, and let's say that's our spur people, you know, they will take a creamy sauce on the steak. But if you pair Chardonnay and especially oak Chardonnay with any fruit, anything creamy, buttery, like a hollandaise sauce, you know, all that kind of round food with a lot of I want to say buttery, creamy textures, oak Chardonnay is perfect with it. So if you're going to order a steak with a creamy sauce on it, my recommendation is hands on a Chardonnay, because on red wine, a creamy sauce always clash with red wine. So, you know, but that's always, if you do the correct combination of the two. Oak Chardonnay is definitely creamy, buttery dishes is a yes. So, you know, that's my recommendation if you look at the food and wine pairing of it. All right. So,
this is the Chardonnay glass is the glass that convinced JC the most out of Riedel. That is how I got Riedel into the tasting room.
I can see why.
It makes a massive difference to the wine, to the enjoyment and the pleasure of this wine, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, and you know that layers, because I always say if you think of the amount of work that goes into the vineyard, we talked about the barrel selection, we talk about, you know, the 11 months in the barrel, you know, it's the blending of that, it's, you know, everything, you put that together and you pour it into the wrong glass, all the work that's happening in the cellar is gone forever. Because, and then we talk, you know, it's the human body, it's the sense that create that the taste is wine, and the wine it's not at its best. So here you can actually taste the effort that's going into the wine as well, just by using the right tool.
And I think it's also a whole learning curve for a lot of sommelier involved in restaurants. I think when you start to drink from a certain quality level, you slowly would nearly expect that you also get matched with a proper glass of wine as a stemware. And when I go in a restaurant and I drink a nice Pinot Noir, it really doesn't make me feel too comfortable when the glass is a bad glass and I spend a lot of money on wine. So I think it is a combination when you go slightly for this high end, or when I say high end, from mid to high end, you would nearly expect that you also get treated well with a good glass of stemware alongside and so when I go to a place and I drink a nice, expensive, good Chardonnay, I would nearly expect that I also get a Chardonnay glass.
Yeah,
I know for the sommelier it's difficult most probably to do it, but I just think
he nearly said Riedel. He meant Riedel.
But you know, it's obviously my job is to go around Africa and in the world and all over to train guys. But you know, we out of what we call our competitive tasting, there's nothing that delivers Chardonnay in the format of Pinot Noir that like Riedel is doing. I've never seen it. So a lot of guys call their glasses. It's especially Bordeaux. It's a lot of guys call it Bordeaux or Burgundy, but that's why Riedel is seen as the best. George Riedel goes into you know, this 110 tastings to go and ensure that that grape varietal is just a total match. They do it with you know, a wide range of leading brands, and then kind of to get the right style, they also do it in different vintages. So it's not something that you just, the shape is beautiful, but there's really thinking about it and in how much depth they go into the wine.
It's Aubert de Villen's favorite glassware, Riedel.
Pardon?
Aubert de Villen from Ramny-Conti. It's his favorite glassware.
Fantastic.
So when you come to benchmark Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in the world, these are the glasses that you use.
That's nice. Fantastic to know.
You call it science, I call it magic.
So sorry for wasting the time that we are not serving Roman and Conti, we're just serving the Croatian Pinot Noir.
We can have a beautiful Pinot Noir. Sorry, I just want to get mine behind me.
guys have any questions so far, I do wish you guys were here tasting with me.
So just maybe quickly a quick update on the wine we taste next. That's our estate Pinot Noir, and the Pinot Noir we producing as the main cultivar on our wine estate by side of Chardonnay, and we make on this Pinot Noir winemaking process is like very little intervention. So we try to pretty much rely everything back to the nature. So we focus on having top quality grapes, and then we try that nature takes its turn, and we touch as little as possible and put that back in the bottle. So this is our vineyards. It's roughly an average 10 years, and we do make a wild yeast ferments, and then it goes for 12 months into barrels, like the Chardonnay, all Burgundy shaped barrels. And this is a wine. Obviously, age does help always on a Pinot Noir. So we think the comfortable place is maybe between 5 to 8 years to drink it. But nevertheless, we quite comfortable even on the reserve range. It will be 10 years plus easy to put this wine on the side.
Daisy, and the barrels, do you use a first fill, second, third fill? How do you mix your barrels with the Pinot Noir?
It does depend a little bit about which quality level we go from estate to reserve to art. It's a little bit also about the pricing. The barrels are incredibly expensive, but we're using in the estate range plus minus 20% new, and then we go up to maybe 40% in the reserve range. But interesting, the Pinot Noir is a cultivar who does like new wood, and you would maybe assume that the Pinot Noir, who is a touch lighter in structure and light in expression, would get overrun by the wood. But I think when you select carefully the right toast, it does combine very well and integrate in the product. Yeah. And the one reason why I think that the new wood is so good on Pinot Noir is the wood gives you a little touch of tannins, and the Pinot Noir is not a very high tannin grape. So that is where the benefit of the wood tannins definitely plays in. When you make Syrah, for example, there is so much tannins from the Syrah, you don't really have to add additional tannins from the wood. So Syrah, we have a different management on new wood than on Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Because also, if you look at this color of this Pinot Noir, it's a little bit darker, so you can feel there's a little bit more texture. It's not like in that kind of light red that you can quickly see through the wine. You can just feel and even smell, and in the color you can see the complexity of the wine as well.
You know, I think Pinot Noir from a certain quality level, you would try to slide away from the fruity red berry light structure. I mean, Pinot Noir needs texture, and when you have texture in Pinot Noir and still keep the elegance and the finesse, I think then you are pretty much on the right route to go. So maybe it's a little bit tougher with really young vineyards, but now fortunately we are going closer to 20 years, so it definitely becomes much beneficial to make the wines with slightly older vineyards.
Yeah. All right, so we can maybe smell from glass number 3 the Pinot Noir glass, and you'll see there obviously the tulip now, the nice belly on the wine. So Carolyn, maybe you guys, JC, you guys can maybe just show the glass, your Pinot Noir glass, because there's 2 different shapes, and maybe just to show everybody. So the one is for New World and the other one is Old World. So this is newest technology, 2018. The glasses that you've got, the restaurant range, is obviously the old traditional shape. And it's just a little bit of the tulip at the top that's obviously different. But the belly and the rim diameter at the sides is exactly the same. It's just that little bit of a bend that George has done two different styles on Pinot Noir. As I said, he loves Pinot Noir. So, and maybe this is more built for kind of your American styles, because they work quite closely with the Mondavi family, and that I think it's Pinot Noir from Oregon. You know, so they've done all the tasting workshops more based on the American palate, and that's why they've gone New World and Old World.
I don't have to get worried that you want to sell me a new glass of for my tasting in here.
I think we should maybe test it and see what's your opinion on it. So
I'm very worried about this
I
test.
think, Peter, you should have sent them one of the glasses. You should have sent them the new Pinot Noir glass.
Yeah, I should have sent them also one of these. All right, so let's just smell out of the other glasses, because you know, if you take the aromas in glass number 3, you know, you also get that kind of beautiful berries. There's layers of fruit in there. The minerality on this wine for me is really amazing. So let's go to glass number 1, and then you'll also see once again much smaller belly. So the surface area for the aeration is much less. So what I'm talking about is if you physically look at the amount of wine, it's like in, you know, a little round area like that, where if you take the bigger bowl, it's like a round area like that. So there's space for more aeration on the glass if you kind of look down on it. And that brings out that full, you know, fruitiness. I like to call it a fruit bomb, because there's not a lot of wines that give you this amount of fruit, and you know, and it's kind of a clear fruit that I'm getting on the nose out of 3. So if we go out of the Chardonnay glass, so that's glass number 2. Okay, you'll find that because we don't bring all that molecules together, the aromas, you lose all the beautiful fruit that you have in glass number 3. You lose that fruit in glass number 2, the Chardonnay glass. So most people, and I'm talking just generic, the generic consumer, they will think glass number 2 is a red wine glass, because everybody thinks white glass, big glass is a red wine glass. You know, and for us, George actually likes to call glass number 2 the enemy to red wine, because yeah, it just turns red wine into something horrible. Right, and let's go to glass number 4. This will be quite interesting, because we talked about earlier about you know, a little bit of spiciness that we usually get from glass number 4. So JC Carolyn, this is also the Bingham restaurant glass that we've got in front of us. So it's the same glasses on your side. So maybe you can just tell us, you know, in the comparison between 3 and 4 for you guys.
You have to do that because I'm tasting.
It's when you would look the shape, it would look everything right in the Shiraz glass too. But when you taste the wine, it falls completely flat. I mean, there's no precision, there's no elegance in the mouthfeel. So it is quite frightening to see what is the impact of glass.
Yeah. Okay. So let's taste. So let's taste first glass number 3. That's the Pinot Noir glass. Yeah, it's round, it's full. You get like in that a berry fruitiness. It just stays on your palate, and it's in balance. So really, really beautiful. And for me, it stays on your tongue, so it doesn't move to the side where we usually get the tannin structure. But there's beautiful weight, beautiful in harmony. They're really nice. Let's go to 4 now. So we first do that before we do the others, just to see what JC was describing, the difference between 3 and 4.
You have to focus also on the tannin structure between 3 and 4. How on the first one, on number 3, the tannins are very smooth and well integrated, and then on glass number 4, it gets much harsher and much more unbalanced. You know, in a way.
I get actually a little bit of dryness on them, you know, like a more greener, drier tannin out of glass number 4, where on 3 it was really smooth and perfect harmony and beautiful. Tuanni, what do you think?
I think you're right. The tannins are a little bit more harsh in glass number 4, and but you get more of that pink pepper. So like you get more of that. For me, I did notice the fruit a lot more, but it was like fruit sprinkled with pink pepper. Whereas it was more integrated, like you said. So the tannins were well integrated, the fruit was more integrated, everything, nothing really stood out. It was just the perfect combination of everything.
Yeah. All right. So I want to change that for you. Please taste out of glass number 2.
You know, I have to say, when you do the tasting, we had the fortunate situation that Mr. Riedel came himself once here to also taste it with sommeliers and persons out of the wine trade.
Yeah.
And what is quite incredible, he doesn't really have to talk a lot. He just let the person taste, and that's it. I mean, the statement, the glass makes the statement pretty much.
Yeah. That was in 2014. So Maximilian was supposed to join us now in May for the one of his first visits. I think he was here as a child in South Africa and Kenya. So it's been postponed to May 2021. So we're looking forward that we're going to see him next year. But we would love to come and do a tasting with you guys as well.
We'd be delighted. Yeah, cool. Okay. It was really fun.
Yeah, great. So Tuanni, just describe glass number 2, the aftertaste on that for the Pinot Noir. Because a lot of people serve red wine and Pinot Noir out of this glass. So this is usually how people perceive Pinot Noir in South Africa.
It's not, this is my impression of Pinot Noir in South Africa. It's not something that I would say, oh, this is a great wine. I'd say this is a good wine, you know. The finish wasn't lasting. It wasn't consumed in my mouth like all over. It was kind of short. I was surprised because this is my typical glass. Like this is my red wine glass.
Okay, so hopefully we can change your perspective today as well. But just think of what you're getting in glass number 3. You know, Pinot Noir it's a fruit bomb. It's smooth. It's round. It's amazing if you drink it from the right glass. But this is what people think about Pinot Noir. So I just wish sometimes I can change the whole industry, because I think people will drink 10 times more Pinot Noir if they can just have the right glass for it, because it's amazing grape varietal, but we always drink it in the wrong glass.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, and then just take a sip out of glass number 1. So glass number 1 is obviously more or less into the same direction of the tasting zone. So it's a little bit more to the tip of the tongue where we taste the sweetness. And JC said that Pinot Noir is usually a little bit high in acidity. So it also brings out a nice balance. But if you also think about the fruit, the texture, the roundness, you lose it out of glass number 1.
Yeah, I'm just really disappointed by this glass. This glass, when you said you call it the red wine destroyer, I was like, what? But it destroyed this Pinot Noir.
It destroys red wine. So
it was my least favorite out of all 4.
Yeah. So luckily in our portfolio, so obviously, you know, if you think about oak Chardonnay, it's not a big category generally. If you look on a wine list or you look at the hospitality industry. So it's quite difficult to sell the glass because the functionality is usually only for oak white wines. But in studies and workshops that we've done now, we've seen that this glass is amazing for gin and tonic. So there's another functionality that got to this glass on the functionality side, where if you do gin and tonic from it, it also brings out this amazing aroma. So this glass is getting more and more traction, because we can now use it for 2 things. So it's oak Chardonnay, so at least you can serve it for aperitif, and you can serve it then for the oak Chardonnay after it. So glass number 2 is there's an extra functionality to this glass that is
put the ice cube very carefully inside, huh?
Yes, we have to
out of experience.
But we absolutely use it for our gin, and we have a Chardonnay gin at Creation, which is beautiful. And so you can imagine this in this glass, the combination of the Chardonnay gin is just really fun.
You can add that to my order.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good.
It's actually International Gin Day on Saturday, so just for everybody to know. So we definitely need to share some gin as well. All right, so maybe just go back to the repair sip. I want another sip of this Pinot Noir. It's really beautiful. I just wish more people can appreciate Pinot Noir. JC, Carolyn, in your perspective, and we're talking now a lot of the hospitality industry, and you know, my heart is going out to each guy that cannot open at the current moment. But do you find that there's attraction? Pinot Noir is definitely growing in South Africa. It's still not huge volumes, but there's still a growth in Pinot Noir generally.
Yeah, I think that there is, you know, I mean, one thing that's amazing is that obviously we have long summers here, and it's a beautiful wine to drink all year round, because I love it because you can have it with fish, from fish to game. So in terms of pairing, it's really a wonderful wine to pair with food. But because of our long summers, it's actually a beautiful red wine to drink at the right temperature, which is probably around 14 degrees in summer. It's really fantastic, you know. And the thing that is so good is that it just refreshes the palate all the time. You don't feel like it's a heavy bomb. So it's really got this lovely vibrancy to it, and this wonderful elegance as well. And it's just such a great food wine. I think it's really, if we can just get everybody to have that Riedel Pinot Noir glass, it just takes it to the next level. You know, it's like getting into the right car and just driving in a beautiful car.
I think I just came up with my Christmas list: a Riedel Pinot Noir glass and a bottle of Creation wine. That's what everybody's getting.
Here we go.
Wonderful. We'll have to make sure that happens, Tuanni.
Yeah, that's it.
So when we're heading for the next wine, this is our Syrah Grenache, our Rhone style blend. We did the first vintage in 2007. At that time, with very young vineyards. And interesting, we pretty much came along with the same recipe on the blending. We could blend different in percentage, but we feel our good component part plays normally around 80% Syrah and 20% Grenache. And as we are proud for Pinot Noir estate and Chardonnay estate, I think the Rhone cultivar does exceptional well in this Hermanus too. We're producing Viognier on the white wine, who became very successful. We planted Roussanne and Grenache Blanc, who over the next 2 years will then add a white Rhone blend, who partly will go maybe to wood, that we still have to determine. And then on the red wine offering, we have a single Syrah, a reserve range, and the main blend is then this Syrah Grenache. And I think the combination of Syrah Grenache is it's a fantastic combination in blending. They're both cultivars really complement each other, and so we go in 500-liter barrels. But as I mentioned before, we don't need a lot of new wood. We're just using around 10-15% new oak. And when you look climatically where Pinot Noir grows in Burgundy and how quick you drive into the northern part of the Rhone Valley to the Côte-Rôtie, it shows you that these two cultivars, they're not so far off from each other. And in a winemaking perspective, we handle Syrah the same way as we would handle Pinot Noir. So we do pretty much everything the same way, very little intervention, everything on wild yeast. And I do love Rhone style wines. I think the Rhone cultivar Syrah is most probably one of the most suitable red cultivars in South Africa. The only downfall we have here still is, like most of these red wines, you need vineyard age. So when you have once these Syrah blocks in the kind of 30, 40, 50 years old, I think that is where we will see the true reflection of this culture in this country.
Nice.
Yeah,
I have a couple questions.
So if we talk about age of South African wines, I definitely think South Africans drink wines too young. And I wish there can be kind of a change in character, that we drink our wines a little bit later, because you know, but there's always this kind of European expectation. You know, they haven't even harvested 2020, and then they want 2027 Sauvignon Blanc or whatever, or it's already in the stores. So you know, I just wish we can have that times for the wines to develop and to grow into the, how can I say, the perfect smoothness and roundness and development in the bottle. We just drink our wines totally too young. Tuanni, have you started smelling it? So let's go to glass number 4, our Shiraz glass. So this glass is for all Rhone varietals, and then also if you think a little bit about Italian Sangiovese, Tempranillo, that kind of varietals. But south of Rhone, all those varietals, Grenache, Mourvedre, this glass is absolutely perfect for that.
I drink a lot of Syrah, so this is perfect.
Yeah, but also around, JC, I don't know on your side, I get a lot of minerality, but on the spiciness, it's more round for me than that. There's really a deep spice that's standing out. It's very subtle, your spiciness on the Shiraz.
Yeah, it is. I think it is about the ripening patterns of these grapes, and these grapes, they ripen very, very slowly at the end. So there's when we pick the grape skin is really nice, and the physiologic ripening is really there. And we have a touch of spiciness, but often what happens is when you pick pretty early, you get a lot of this pepper, very strong peppery flavors. And I'm not desperately chasing this intense pepper flavor component. So we have a little bit more, maybe a touch of cherry flavors coming in. Plum definitely is in, and then maybe on the line with a little spice. As I mentioned before, we don't really want to have a lot of wood component or smokiness. We really think it can reflect the terroir so well that we not have to add anything. And I believe this is end of the day, I always think the consumer is the best judge about your wines, because the consumer walks in, has a choice of maybe 10 or 15 different products to select from. And the Syrah Grenache became one of our top red sellers next to the Pinot Noir. And he, over the years, and we exporting, I think, 40 country plus, and of each export order, we packing Syrah Grenache on. So I think it's a very versatile wine. I think the worst case what you have is when these wines become too flabby. So when you have flabby, not enough acidity, and it gets sticky, then I think that's a death for all these kind of heavy red wines. You want to have always elegance. You want to have, like in the Pinot Noir, you're chasing finesse and elegance. I think it's the same game also for Syrah and Syrah blends.
Yeah, I was looking for the two words, and for me, elegance, finesse. It was really, a lot of Shirazes is kind of a little bit bold, or too strong or too spice driven. And if you always look at some sort of an analysis on Shiraz, or the word spice is always in there. This is what I was looking for, that elegance and finesse. This is what I'm getting in this glass. It's really so nice on the nose. So let's maybe taste them from glass number 4.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that black pepper and that plum. And it doesn't taste as peppery as it smells. So when you do taste it, then you get that elegance and that finesse.
Yeah. I fell in love with Shiraz when I did my first wine course, and it was the South African wine introduction course with the Cape Wine Academy in 1993 when I was studying hotel management. And I fell in love with Shiraz, and I've never left that zone. And Burgundy, the south of France, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, that's for me just amazing areas, and especially with this Grenache in here. It's just so round and smooth that you're getting out of this glass. Okay, let's maybe taste from glass number 3 as well. So a little bit of a different tasting zone. If you smell, you don't get that kind of the same fruit intensity and elegance that you had in glass number 4. But let's just taste this as well. Showing a little bit more of a dry tannin for me in glass number 3, and not that full roundness, elegance that we had in glass number 4.
Right. And I think that you pick up a little bit more of like baking spices, so like a little bit more vanilla, like maybe some more of like the oak aromas than you do in glass number 4.
Yeah.
In glass number 3, you get more of the flavors attributed to the oak.
Yeah. And I think, that's why, that's if we talk perfect harmony and balance, that's what you get in 4. And then, it's, moving a little bit directions that you can taste components if you go to a different class that's in 3. But let's maybe go to 2. So unfortunately,
that's your safe class. When someone doesn't want to listen to your story, you send them back to number 2.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that you guys can smell this in the study group, because it's honestly, it's amazing. It's like the most magical experience ever, because glass number 2 is the worst. It's terrible for this to run.
Can you taste like in the green tannins that you're getting, and your little bit of what you want to, this is kind of where you get the woods, the tannins. That's totally separated. You get like in that aftertaste is more dry on the palate, and it just stands. It's still a beautiful wine, because I've tasted 10 times worse than this. We're really on the side. So it's still a great wine. If you think totally the wrong glass, I can still have that beauty out of it. But
you can still taste the beauty in the wine. But I think that I would just say, if I were evaluating it, I would say it's not ready, right? But if I taste it in number 4, I'd say it's ready, it's perfect, it's well balanced, it's perfect. But in wine number 2, glass number 2, I'd say maybe I just need to let it sit in my glass for a little bit longer. Maybe I need more food with it.
Yep. Okay, and let's take a sip from glass number 1. So that's your smaller white wine glass. And obviously the glass is also used, Carolyn, maybe JC, you can just show us that glass again. So they use this glass for rating the wines in the competitions. And I still don't agree with it. So I definitely think, they should go wine varietal specific, because then you get wine at its best. Because if you compare this, I don't ever think that it's a fair judgment. And even if you go then to Veritas or to Michelangelo, where they still use the ISO, it's horrible glasses for red wine. So I'm really working on the guides with Michelangelo. It seems to me that I can maybe change them in the next year to judge with proper glassware. But you don't get this finesse of the wine in glass number 1.
I think it's one of the reasons why Pinot Noir as well is not as successful as it would be if it was tasted out of the right glassware, because it's so elegant and beautiful. And I think it's not tasted out of the right glassware, and therefore in South Africa it doesn't do well. Whereas when you look at international competitions, they taste the Pinot Noir out of a Pinot Noir glass. Yeah,
for sure. No, it makes a huge difference. So out of glass number 1, it's short, it's watery. You lose totally the character of this of what this wine is about. You don't even get the layers. You don't get the fullness, the roundness. So so let's go back to our repair sip, glass number 4.
Interesting.
Oh, really amazing. I maybe just want to share 1 or 2 things with you on the design of a glass. I think it's maybe just good for the educational part of it. So glass number 4 that we've got, you'll see we usually talk about a 3-piece or a 2-piece construction. So this is a 3-piece construction where they blow the bowl into a mold, the stem.
Did we lose Peter? I think we lost Peter.
I think they wanted to talk more about the wine, not so much about the technicality of the glass.
He's back. He's back.
He's back. Yay!
Peter, tell us about the glass. We lost you.
Oh wait, let me unmute you for a second. Wait a second. There you go.
Okay, there we go. All right, so maybe just on the glassware. So the glasses is joint at the stem here and at the bottom. All right, and you can feel a little bit of a joint. But if you go to your performance glasses, so maybe just this glasses is done in Weiden, one of our factories, and that machines and stuff is running from from 1985. So this was when George Riedel designed these glasses with the Riedel Mondavi and the Gallo family. This is the newest technology. This is a two-piece construction. So the performance glasses is a two-piece construction. And if they blow the bowl and they pull down to the stem here, this is a two-piece construction, and they're only jointed at the bottom. So very interesting that it's only one joint, and you'll feel the joint over there is one piece. So it's very, very smooth. So, this is the newest technology, new machines. And then one thing that you'll always see with Riedel as well is the base plate. So this area at the bottom is always wider than the normal glassware. And it's basically that your glass don't tip and fall over. That it's all.
Must be the rain. I'm sure it's the rain.
Yeah, it's kind of quite a storm. I mean, it's okay here for the minute, but we're sitting, oh, there he is.
There we go.
Lost you just for a second.
Yeah. So obviously it's just for the balance in the hand is the base plate is for stability on the table and stability in your hand. So there's a lot of things that Riedel, if we look at the design, what happens in the glass, maybe just the stem doesn't have anything to do with functionality. That's more for aesthetics. And the base plate as well, there's functionality. But the biggest thing is obviously the bowl, the belly, and the rim at the top, the rim diameter. And you'll also see our glasses is also laser cut. So that means that most entry-level glasses that you look at has got a rolled rim. So there's a little bit of a speed bump when the wine is flowing. So it's going over a speed bump if the wine is flowing onto your palate. So there's a couple of great designs in the glass as well that makes Riedel the leader in the world with making of glasses.
Nice. I think one thing that I love about really nice wine glasses for me is the thin rim. So when it's super thin like that and you can just really taste the wine, that's my favorite part, and that's what I look for in a glass.
Yeah.
Now I look for the bowl too.
Yeah. So, we talk about mouthfeel because I always say, besides for obviously the food and the wine that's going onto your palate, but your fork and the glass physically goes onto your lips. So it's actually an intimate experience that you've got with a specific tool, and you can feel the sense of touch when you add it to your lips, that rolled rim. And then obviously other thing that we do is fire polish. So fire polish means you blow fire all over the glass and in the glass to take away any seams, and you actually harden the glass as well. So if you go onto YouTube and you go and look at the quality videos, you will see what we do. But these glasses can take up to 100 kilos of pressure, and there is movement in glasses of about 9%. So the glasses is really it's thin, but it's not as fragile as what people think.
I think Carolyn, I don't know if it's Carolyn or JC who brought it up, but like I think a good test too is drinking water out of your wine glasses to tell the quality, because you can actually see even with water how the flavor changes. Like if I drink water out of a regular glass, or God forbid a plastic cup, it tastes awful. But when I drink it out of a wine glass, it's totally different. So if you don't have any wine because it's been tough, you're on lockdown, try this experiment with water. And if you can, order some creation wines, or let's see, let me let Peter back in. There we go. And just try this experiment. I can't wait to invite people over and be like, let me show you what I learned.
Well, we can't wait to invite you to our tasting room so that you can have the full Riedel creation experience here either.
I'm looking forward to it. Peter, do you have anything, or do you guys have? Oh, I did have a couple questions. So this is for JC and Carolyn. I'm a little shaky on South African geography, but is creation in a cold climate region? So I call it Hermanus, but I guess it's Herman Arden. I can't never say it right. Is that a cold climate region?
It's Hermanus, and we're in the Himmeln Ader. Yeah, and it's really a cool climate. We have like 5 days over 30 degrees. And the average daytime temperature for 6 months of the year during the growth period is around 23 to 26 degrees. And then at midnight, the temperature drops normally by 12 degrees to the daytime temperature.
Nice. And then the other question was, so on Tuesday, I'm doing a Viognier tasting. So we're practicing our deductive tasting skills. Which glass should I use for the Viognier? Am I right?
The Sauvignon Glass.
When it's unwooded. Yeah.
When it's unwooded, because we have an unwooded Viognier. But Peter, maybe you can intercept here. For our Viognier, we'd use our Sauvignon Blanc glass or the standard glass.
So you use this glass for the Viognier? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe just bring Peter back on the mic.
There is a glass that is a Viognier glass which is a little bit lower than this, so Riedel have a specific Viognier glass, but maybe Peter can tell you about that.
Yeah, it's really cut a little bit shorter than the Sauvignon Blanc glass, and it's actually then for unwooded Chardonnay and Viognier goes into the same glass. But generally, to add Sauvignon Blanc and Chenin Blanc, we prefer to sell glass number 1 that you've got. That's our international tasting glass, and then also the white wine glass we had on this side. Just to add more varietals to it. So there is a specific unwooded Chardonnay and Viognier glass, but the Sauvignon Blanc glass will do a great job.
Okay, so then what about if I only had these 4 glasses in my house, right? And I were going to open up a Cabernet or a Bordeaux style blend, which glass would I use for that?
At the current moment, we didn't, and because of what Creation was doing, I didn't bring you a Bordeaux glass. Maybe I must just quickly fetch one behind me. So you'll see this is the Bordeaux glass. That looks obviously a little bit different from the Pinot Noir glass. So in general, the Bordeaux glass is about 50% of our sales. Shiraz and Pinot Noir, and it's just because of the demand of wine. So if you look at South Africa and you look at sales, a Cabernet Merlot blend is and it's a Bordeaux blend is the biggest sales of blend in South Africa. So generally, we'll sell more cab glasses than what we'll sell Shiraz glasses, but maybe just let's go through a couple of varietals. So glass number 4 that we've tasted in is the Shiraz glass, but as I told you, a lot of Italian varietals can go in there, but mostly for South Africans, Pinotage go in there.
Okay.
So glass number 4, you can also drink Pinotage from there, and then glass number 3, that was our Pinot Noir glass, is also for Italian Nebbiolo. So there's a couple of varietals that go in there. And then obviously the other 2 glasses, the one is for oak white wines. We call it the oak Chardonnay glass. But oak white wines, like I had a Semillon the other night that was oak, or oak Chenin Blanc, everything out of glass number 2 that we had. That is, that glass that we also said you can use for gin and tonic. And then obviously you had the white wine glass, that one over there. So in Austria and in Germany, most of their white wines is obviously Riesling and I'm thinking what is the Austrian white wine? JC, maybe you can help.
Veltliner.
Grüne Veltliner, eh?
Yeah, Veltliner.
Riesling Grüne Veltliner is number 1. Where in South Africa, we mostly drink Sauvignon Blanc or we drink Chenin Blanc. So kind of the varietals on that side.
All right, perfect. So this is my Chenin Blanc glass. This is my Pinot Noir glass. Perfect.
Yes.
And
yes.
then I can use this glass, I would imagine, for a Bordeaux if I have a Bordeaux glass. If I have a Bordeaux and I don't have the Bordeaux glass, I should use this one out of the 4.
Out of the 4, I would rather use glass number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think my next trip to Cape Town, I must bring you a Bordeaux glass as well.
That would be lovely. That would be lovely. I'm going to be so fancy. Okay, wait. We have a question in the text, and it says, Monica says, does Peter sells glasses to consumers? For example, one of each. Oh, so do you sell to consumers? So if somebody's watching the call right now and they wanted to buy like the set of 4, maybe the set of 5 because they wanted to include the Bordeaux glass, do you sell that set of 5 or 4?
Currently, our tasting sets is we sell a tasting set of 4 glasses, and it's sold by Reciprocal, is our distributor in South Africa. Reciprocal Wine, so that is Michael Crossley, Michael Freejohn, Taryn Vincent is mostly dealing with the guys in Cape Town. So yes, we sell directly to consumer, but if they want to order the tasting set is obviously the best to order if you want all 4 different glasses. So if you know if they say,
can they order through you, or can you type in the chat message the website where they can go to order?
Yeah, I'll do that, but they can also contact me directly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Monica, please order so we can taste together.
Yeah, I think that will be awesome. So I see Matumi has already left, but there was a couple of other guys on there that was still listening. Don, Monica, and then Silas. So. Yeah, if you guys need any information, you're more than welcome to contact myself, and I'll direct you, and I'll even send you the full price list in South Africa. So obviously, you know, we split our glasses into this retail packs and there's Oreca packs. So if you buy for your restaurant, it will be packed in a box of 12, a brown box of 12, because you're going to pack it and use it in the restaurant, so we don't worry too much about packaging. And then maybe just to show that, you know, if we go to retail packs, it's beautiful boxes. So this is the gin and tonic stemless set. Or otherwise, it will be in beautiful boxes like this, where you usually get them in a set of 2 or in a set of 4.
Nice. And we also have people who watch or who join from America, like Don and Michelle, who left later. Of course, Riedel is a worldwide business. So if you're in America or if you're in France, you can always go to Riedel.com and you can order their wines. And if you're in the business, I would just suggest you try to find your regional rep and make friends with them, and then maybe they can walk you through like the best glasses that you should have in your arsenal, so that you can do proper tastings. Yeah.
So obviously, for the USA, Riedel own company that's called Crystal of America. It's the company called in the USA. And actually George is staying in Arizona in America permanently. So 50% of our business is American. And there is, we call vice presidents as our title in the USA as well. So you're more than welcome to contact me. I'll direct you to the right person all over the world. So, it's we're a worldwide team, and in most countries of the world, yeah.
The good news is as well, creation will be in the US very soon.
Fantastic.
Yeah, July, our wines will be there.
It's
so very exciting.
It's for my birthday. We'll have to talk to see if they're gonna be in LA, so then that way I can have a virtual tasting party and I can be like, go get creation and
that would be so cool. That would be so cool.
I would love to welcome creation to the US. I'll be here, but I can do it virtually.
Yeah, Johnny, from my side, one of the best food, wine, glasses experiences I had in my life is at creation. So you need to add it to your tours.
people will be blown away to take them there.
I definitely will. I can't wait for the world to open up. And we talked about that, and Creation was so amazing. I reached out to Ian. I said, do you know anybody at Creation? Can you ask them if they can like come and join us for our masterclass and tasting group? And right away they said yes. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge about wine. And Peter, thank you so much for telling us about the wine glasses. I can't wait to share the experience with people.
Yeah, Tuanni, I think it's important, you know, Riedel do this all over the world. This is our route to market, is that we do glass functionality tastings. And people don't understand that if you don't, we actually say we play with the human senses. So I did play with your human senses, even on a Zoom chat, you know, just pouring the wine onto the palate in different areas. That's what it's all about. And if people understand that, you even understand much more of how we consume wine and what's the big difference that the right glass, the right tool is doing to the wines.
Yes, it's like magic, really. Honestly, it's like magic. I promise you. I promise you. This experience was definitely like magic. I was a little skeptical at first, but then like it definitely is like magic. We have a question in the group. Monica wants to know, when will Creation open their tasting room?
We're not sure, Tuanni. It really depends on government regulations. People can come up at the moment and look at our exhibition, and they can buy wine from Monday to Thursday, and they can get this amazing cocoon culinary experience, which they can take away with them at the moment, so that they can actually do a takeaway. And we can also deliver that locally in our region, and we can do deliveries anywhere in South Africa at the moment. And we are working on, we've got a little tasting kit, and we're just working on a little alchemy tasting kit to go with the tasting kit. But the difference is, of course, you're not necessarily going to have everybody with Riedel glasses in their houses. We hope that people can really enjoy that part of it too. But we're hoping
we can make that happen.
Yeah, we're hoping, like, you know, really at the latest by September, because that's a long time for us. It really just depends on government regulations and when we get to level 1.
And then Silas, do you want to just make your comment? Because that's quite long. I don't want to read it. I'm just going to unmute you, and then you can just make your comment.
I've actually read it now, so maybe I can just answer him. So, you know, he's asking the question on Cabernet, the Bordeaux glass or the Shiraz glasses is breaking more. You know, and at the end of the day, it's all about usage. So, you know, if we technically look at glasses is all, you know, if we look about the care of our glasses, the more you use a glass, obviously it gets fragile over a period of time. So we call it that the glasses actually get microchips in the glasses. So, you know, every time we cheers, every time we hit a glass, every time we carry a glass, you know, glasses get microchips, and a lot of things that the you know, waiters like to carry their glasses, and then they carry it in their hands like this. But every time you eat glasses like that, it actually gets microchips. And the more microchips you get into glasses, the more fragile it gets. Just remember, this is melted sand, alkaline, lime, and a metal oxide. So this is crystal, you know, and the more you heat it, the more fragile it gets. So the less we do with that, the better. So, you know, I always like to investigate, you know, the care of glasses, and that also means how do you wash your glasses? And JC and Carolyn at Creation has invested into, like JC said, proper washing machines. But the big thing is a glass rack. So, you know, when you carry your glasses, is physically how do you wash it? Because a lot of time also in dishwashers, the guys have a normal rack and it's hitting each other, so microchips more and more and more. So Karen, maybe, I don't know if you've got a specific trend in your business on glasses that breaks less or more, and how do you maybe care for your glasses? Maybe you can give Silas a tip on that.
Yeah, I think what's really important is when you're drying the glasses, I think when you're washing the glasses, obviously not to bang the rim on any caps or anything like that. And when you're drying the glasses, it's very important that you have a huge cloth. We've got these huge cloths. So you get a Riedel cloth, or you get we have a lint-free cloth also from Switzerland, and it's massive. And we can take the whole cloth and we can dry without any friction. We dry the glass like this without damaging the glass. So yeah, I can get Mandy to do a demonstration if you want me to, if she's around.
That'll be good.
Is Mandy here?
Okay. I know Silas has also asked about decanters, so I've got a couple of decanters with me.
Okay.
So, Silas, maybe on decanting, there's not a specific decanter for a specific grape varietal, but I've done with the SOMS Association with Caroline. I know Eben is also working with you, with Eben Besaidenout. We did once a decanter tasting. And the one thing that came out of the decanter tasting, every single wine we did, the wine tasted better if you decant. Doesn't matter which wine. The conclusion at the end of the evening was that the bolder the wine or the bigger the wine, the more wood component in the wine, a big surface area will work better for bigger wines. So our recommendation is, and you know, it's just a small recommendation to say, if you use a smaller decanter like this with a small base in a small area, it's better maybe for your white wines. But the bigger surface area decanters like the Mamba or the Ultra is better for big, bold red wines. So that's the conclusion we got at the end of the night. But decanting is definitely better for your wine. So our best-selling decanter is what we call our Amadeo. So this is a new one that we call Rosa. You'll see just the pink in there. But this is one of our best-selling decanters that we've got in South Africa. And that's what's very nice is you've got a kind of a bigger pouring area over there, and then or pouring in from the bottle, and then you've got a small area to pour into the glass. And it's very easy to handle and pour for the customer. So, you know, George Riedel always liked to talk about wine theater. And, you know, I always say, you know, if we go into a restaurant, you actually the actor and your staff is the actors, and you've got an audience and you need to entertain them. So, and if you can give them a proper theater of wine, and decanting is part of the theater of wine, you know, you just give them a much better wine, number one, because you're adding some aeration, and the wine is softer, the wine is opened up. So decanting in Riedel is a definitely yes. I just want to quickly add, we also do these smaller decanters that is machine made. So it looks a little bit more like a graph, but they add about 25% to the handmade decanters that they make in Kufstein. That's really an amazing process. And if you guys want to see how they make it, sometimes it's meters of long crystal, and it's just by gravity and by eyesight that they make those decanters. It's really amazing. So a glass maker, 10 years to become a glass maker. The factory is between about 48 to 54 degrees consistently through the year. So the working conditions is really, that's in the hot seat the whole day. Yeah, so it's really, really hot. But yeah, decanting for us is, you know, to be honest with you, I don't drink wine if I don't decant it anymore, because I just know it's the best for my wine.
Peter, I've got Mandy here. She's going to show you, she dries about, I don't know how many thousand glasses a year.
Fantastic.
Actually, even a day. So she's going to do a little demonstration. I have to go, unfortunately, because I've got to get to Hermanus, and it's 20 minutes to drive there. I've got an appointment at 2 o'clock. But Mandy's gonna play this out for you, if that's all right. And I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was really wonderful. Every time I listen to you, and I, you know, today I didn't taste, but I've been smelling all of these aromas in the glass, and I just learned something new every single time. So it's really fabulous. I just love this product. I'm totally committed to it. It's
good,
you know,
good stuff.
It's one thing, as we say, to make beautiful wines and have an amazing terroir and have this great investment, but it's another thing to appreciate it in the way that one should.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
so
Tuanni.
much, Carolyn.
Thank you. Mandy?
So let's see Mandy dry these glasses. And this is important. I'm always bummed when I have a really nice glass.
you know, we say that you actually invest into Riedel and you need to get return on investment. So I think for every person that's working in a restaurant, they need to understand that if your customer enjoy the wine more, they will drink more. And I think that's the most amazing thing. So please show us the glasses. How do you clean and wash and dry?
Oh, it's by hand. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very fragile glasses, so we have to do it like very smoothly. And we have a special cloth from Switzerland that we use to clean the glasses. So this is the stem. I never touch the glass of the stem because it can break off very thin. So I take it on the foot of the glass, and then I start drying first the foot of the glass, and I just wipe through the stem, and I turn it like that, and then I just swirl the cloth into the glass and the rims, but I don't hardly touch the glass because it's very dangerous. You can actually break it off. So it's just like the cloth that does the work and my movements.
How long does it take you to clean the glass per glass? Like how many glasses can you clean in like an hour?
Well, I like thousands.
Wow.
I do it quickly because sometimes like in the busy days when we used to be busy here, I had to be quick about it.
I love it, and I wonder if they sell those cloths at Creation. That would be amazing. Or do you sell those cloths too, Peter?
We actually got, I don't have one with me now. If you give me a second, I'll go and fetch one. So we call it a microfiber cloth. That's the most important thing that you buy, microfiber cloth. So you get some of them at Woolworths as well, and in different colors. And so that's the one thing. You know, the investment to care for glasses is also in the machine that you buy. And I think that's what JC and Carolyn did, is to buy, you know, good
machine
for washing the glasses. And then, you know, the cleaning and the polishing, if your machine is good, it's easier to clean and to polish, because obviously you get a bit of that, you know, that little bit of maybe lipstick or fat or something around the rim. You know, and that's and I talked about the design of the glass. So maybe the rim at the top is the thinnest area, and the thickest area is the bowl over here. So that's why I said, if you also do cheers, it's best to do it on the belly than to do it on the rim over there. So it's best to touch the belly.
You know what? I'm not cheering anymore. I don't want anybody clicking my wine glass, so it's going to be cheers in the air. No more.
And the other thing that she was talking about also is, you know, if you clean your glass and you've got the glass like this and you turn it like that, we talked about there's an area where it's joint and over there, so you can actually snap it. And
it can break off.
Or apart, you can snap it. So, what's your name again? Mandy, eh?
Mandy.
Yeah. So Mandy is showing us exactly the right way. Always keep your hands together at the base, at the stem, and then you do the bowl. I also like to turn my glass with it. So gravity is putting the hand in, or the glass in your hand, and you need to work very softly with it. It's like a little baby. If you give me a second, I'll grab my cloth and I'll show you quickly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mandy. That was awesome. Now I know how to clean my glasses properly.
Yeah, it's less touch though.
Less touch. So just keep the cloth in your hand. Can you just hold the cloth up just so I can get an idea of how big that cloth is, so when I go to Woolworths and get mine, I can see?
Yeah, it must be quite big. Otherwise, you have to use two.
Okay, perfect. I love it.
Nice.
Hi, does Mandy have any tips for cleaning a decanter?
We actually had a lot of fun with this COVID-19 and washing our decanters every day and using it every day. So this is obviously the Amadea I've got at home, and my son and my daughter told me it's the biggest fun to clean this for them. So, you know, it's just warm water, your sunlight liquid, into the decanter, and then we shake it just a little bit to get the wine out of it. But the nice trick is that if we pour the water in here, all the foam is running at the top here. So we had big fun on cleaning the decanters. The thing is just if you clean it, you need to turn it around and then
drip dries actually.
Drip drying. So just to make it drip dry. I actually just took this one from the washing. You'll see there's still a little bit of water that's running down, but you just drip dry it like that. So maybe just to show you, this is a little cloth. That's a normal Woolworths cloth that I bought. That's microfiber. But our Riedel decanters one is a cloth that looks like that. So it's a little bit bigger with the Riedel branding on it. That's shipped from Austria. That's the microfiber cloth that we do.
I love it.
Okay, and then also got an explanation, and then on the glasses, how to clean, how to polish the glasses, and then obviously you can steam it. But with the good machines we've got at Creation, I don't think they're steaming because the machine is already doing it. So maybe just we guarantee 1,500 household dishwasher cycles. But as we're using at Creation, they've got the industrial machines. You can wash up to 10,000 times the glasses.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Andy, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, we used to have that before, but because we were like over December, we were like quite busy. So it's like many glasses. So that one, it just wets very quickly. And then you have to get like in between time, you have to get the cloth cleaned and dried so that you can do your next batch of glasses. So we used to have that Riedel once before.
Nice. I can't wait to visit you. I hope you remember me when I come to the tasting room. Peter, I wanted to tell you, so you said that you guys are a worldwide team, right? And so I used to be a sales rep for this company called Boisset, right? And so for Boisset, they issue us like part of your training or whatever is you buy a 12-pack of Riedel glasses. And and so this is what I use when I host my tasting glasses. This is my standard glass, which is a Riedel glass. And when you were talking about the theatrics in the show, I mean, it just makes a big difference when everybody has the same quality glass, and then it's a nice glass. So it definitely makes
quality wine.
Yeah,
the quality wine.
Yeah. So people that look at the glassware on a table, or let's just talk generally about the tabletop and what you serve from, I don't want to mention names, but one of the top restaurants in Cape Town, I took my children for the 18th birthday, and I ordered a bottle of Louis Rudiger, and they couldn't give me 5 of the same champagne glasses on the table. And I went there because they were Riedel customers, and they couldn't offer me proper glassware, so my whole evening was spoiled because this place didn't have proper champagne glasses, and you take away, I think, what customers want to enjoy. And, that's, we talk, Creation is one of our brand ambassadors for me in South Africa, where the full experience is all about Riedel. And, this is what you want to give customers, and if I need to buy a bottle of wine sorry, I was just call coming in. So, if I need to go, at another restaurant, a bottle of chocolate blanc, from Buchanan's Kloof, the bottle is 200 Rand in macro. They charged me 1,000 Rand for it, and they came with a cheap European glass that is 15 Rand. Why do I need to go and buy, pay 800 Rand extra for a bottle of wine where, and they cannot even serve me out of the cheapest glass that you can just go and buy at one of the supermarkets. So, it's all about the experience. And, I don't think, I may be a glass snob because I'm in the business, but, I refuse to drink wine at the Spur because I'm not going to drink out of a cheap Pick and Pay Chinese glass. There's no way that I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point though, even at like house parties or if I go over to somebody's house for a barbecue or something, I'll take wine, but in my wine bag, I'll also have a glass. And I wish, and I don't know if there's one, but maybe I should invent one, but a wine bag that actually has a compartment for 2 glasses, because there's nothing more disappointing than going to a dinner party or to a barbecue even, and having this really great wine, and then somebody gives you a plastic cup or they give you a wine glass that looks like an old-fashioned water glass. So yeah, I definitely, I'm gonna be even more of a snob now. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, the world. I apologize in advance.
Yeah, you know, you get to a certain stage where you appreciate these tools and you understand what it's all about. You know, and you know, to me, I know the quality, say, of creation, and if I order it on a wine list in a restaurant, I at least want to drink something from a proper Pinot Noir glass, because I'm not going to order, if they don't have Pinot Noir glasses, I don't drink Pinot Noir. That's as easy as that. If they don't have a Shiraz glass, I don't drink Shiraz. I'll rather look at their glasses and then order my wine, because I understand the functionality of what it's all about.
I love that. That's a good point. I'm going to use that in my wine classes.
Good, but I also take, most of the time I take glasses with me as well to a restaurant, and we've got little bags that can take 4 different glasses. So there is something like that that you can also get from Riedel.
Yes.
That's nice.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you so much, Mandy. That was so helpful. I'm going to practice cleaning the glasses, and when I come to visit creation, I will let you know how it goes. Hopefully, I will report the
Yeah.
Thank you. I
We're looking
appreciate
forward
it.
to seeing you here, cleaning the
Yeah.
glass.
Great. Thank you, man. Yeah.
See,
So,
you have
yeah.
a question?
Hi.
Johnny, can I maybe
Go ahead.
add?
Do I need to unmute you? Unmute yourself. Felix, you can unmute yourself.
So I
Okay.
just typed a couple of questions to Mr. Peter. Maybe if we can be able to respond to that before we leave.
Can you read the questions, or just talk and just tell us the questions?
Yeah, I'm seeing it's more a little bit about the cloth. So yes, Mark, the one question is the Kenya distributor. So it's called the Wine Company, and the guy's name is Taj Berry. So I can also share his details with you, but Taj has got some of the cloths on that side. And then, you know, the fabric of the cloth, I'm not 100% sure what they call it, but what we've got on it, it is just what they call a microfiber cloth. You know, if you look at the normal cloth that you get, it adds that little white particles on the glassware. So they just call it microfiber cloth. So and it's quite smooth, the cloth on that. So like I told you, I've got these at Woolworths that they also call a microfiber cloth, and then this is also microfiber, but it's 2 different materials. So to be honest with you, I don't understand the fabrics on it, but that's what they tell us. It's microfiber cloth.
Any more questions?
Well answered. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Tuanni.
Good stuff. So just, you know, if you need the details, it's called the Wine Company, and they've got a shop in Westgate, and they've just opened at the hub in Tuanni, in Karen. Good, thank you.
Yay!
Good, thank you. This was awesome.
This was amazing. Thank you. You just changed my life, Peter. Thank you very much. Questions or comments before we end the Zoom call? Nope. Okay, well, I will send you guys Peter's information, and then that way you can reach out to him if you're in America or if you're in Kenya, wherever you are. He said it's a whole team worldwide, and so he can tell you and direct you into the best Riedel wrap so that you guys can start drinking like a snob like me, or a pro, not a snob, a pro.
Good stuff. So cheers from my side as well. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest. Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you, Tuanni. That was incredible. Thank you.
Keep well.
I'm glad that you guys liked it. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.